Hello peeps, it's a hillbilly halfwit. Yeah, how's it going today? And this is Gaza. Now, before I go any further, please comment, rate and subscribe and share this stuff out there so everybody can see things, because it's absolutely brilliant seeing all you people comment and getting involved in all this and sharing this stuff, because it really helps the situation. So thanks to every single one of you who liked and shared and commented. Cheers. Now, what we're going to talk about today is a blog that somebody's done, which is a very, very well written about the basically Welsh nudge unit, behavioural science nudge unit, being used against the farming community. Now, they got one of these in the Cabinet Office in the UK, but they've also got one in the Welsh Senedd now since COVID, and it's a bit suspicious. Well, not suspicious, very sinister, I think. So let's go. Now, this is written by somebody else. This is written by a guy called Jack of the North. So if you go onto his page, I hope he doesn't mind me using this because it's written brilliantly. So this guy's is a journalist that writes a blog. So go and look for this guy's page. It's a very, very well written, and he's obviously a very good journalist. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing it on here. I just wanted to show what's going on to you people, because I don't make any money out of all this. This is just purely for helping the cause, okay? So let's go. And I can't read every bit of it out, but I'll try my best to read out what I can, okay? So basically, what he's looking at is far-right support. So I'll read his words, and I've marked the bits I'll read out. So far-right support. I'm going to start by looking at a piece from BBC Wales website a few days ago, written by an S4C reporter. It's worried that the farmers' campaign against the Welsh Government Sustainable Farming Scheme was being exploited by far-right elements with hidden agendas. The article even provided a photograph of the ogress Katie Hopkins. Whatever one may think of her, and I don't think about her at all, as I do, I don't follow her at all. I know of her, but I've never watched her stuff. I suggest she's rather too public to have anything hidden. But just mentioning her name is guaranteed to get the comrades hyperventilating and finger-pointing, though providing a picture as well may have got a few splutting to a point where their mams would have been seriously concerned. Unless they were out, then it might be a 3-day wait for an ambulance. As I say, the report is written by a journalist from a state-funded S4C. Now remember that, a state-funded S4C. Now this is going to be propaganda, isn't it? I look at all the BBC, Channel 4 and S4C as propaganda these days. And by pure coincidence, one of the two farmers quoted has a gig with the same broadcaster. The other farmer had a beef with something Price had said about the Welsh language. The farmer with the S4C job was quoted, "A responsible government would listen because no government's role is to make life of its citizens more difficult. But this is Wales. The Welsh government only listens to and then directed by pressure groups and other fanatics. If S4C wants to find hidden agendas, then that's where it needs to look." Now, I wasn't going to read this out, but I will read this out. If you want proof, just look at who's on the active travel board, plotting to get private cars off the road, 3 cycling organisations plus Sustrans. Now, if you don't know what Sustrans is a hell of a big organisation that sounds like nothing, but it's being given multi-million pounds in Wales to get lots of things through, and it's a civil service group, really. And if you look down below, this is who is in charge of trying to get the vehicles off the road. Cycle Solutions, Cycle in UK, Living Streets, Ramblers Cymru, Sustrans Cymru, Welsh Cycling. How do they get in all this? Because it's bent, that's why. Which of the I like this guy's way he says things. Which of those lycra-clad wankers is supposed to speak for me? I don't believe that farmers fear the wrong kind of sport. They're sensible enough to spot it. What I know a number of them really fear is black propaganda campaign being mounted against them using far-right accusations. And that's exactly what this story is all about. It was a contrived and distasteful attempt to discredit the farmers' protest using a most tenuous connection with somebody the left despises. The next report I'm going to use came out last night, again on the BBC website, and it actually says climate change in the headline. So there's no arguing there, right? Now stick with me on this, because he really comes to a good conclusion here in a minute. There were two journalists involved, Erin Sharrock's Lister and yet another English journalist taken on by the BBC Wales. On a superficial level, this story was about a farming family, Alex and Sam Kenyon, that had coped in a very nature-friendly way with increased flooding on their land, caused by climate change. Yes, we all know. If anybody mentions that, they are working for the civil service. But so many buttons were being pressed in this story that it soon became a dazzling whirl of digits. For example, with advice from Natural Resources Wales and the Nature Friendly Farming Network, Sam discovered a method to preserve our riverbanks. Can you not see the cavalry coming over the hill and splashing through the floodplain? What a sight it was. Sam then consulted her notes from Lesley Griffiths, and we read, see, you can see what's happening here. They're trying to say the Welsh Government, it's such a brilliant thing. These poor farmers were saved by the Welsh Government and Lesley Griffiths. Sam said she was very determined to show nature-based solutions were practical and can benefit farmed landscapes and their biodiversity, especially in the face of climate change. As you, like I said, stick with us here. It'll come to a conclusion in the end, and you'll see why I'm reading this all. So basically, they're using a nudge unit to try and just give certain farmers a voice that are on their page. We need government schemes that reward farmers to take these actions alongside the right training, advice and support for farmers to embrace them with confidence. You know me, I got wondering about Alex and Sam Kenyon, the farmers they'd used. I quickly found their website for llyn Farm. On it, Sam Kenyon described herself as a goat servant. I don't know any genuine farmer that would use a phrase like that. I don't think I know any genuine Welsh farmers that keep goats. Yeah, I can't stand the blooming things. Sam is always supportive of the World Wildlife Fund. Sam is also supportive of the World Wildlife Fund. Scroll down and you'll find her among the supporters. There are a few organisations doing more to undermine traditional farming today than the WWF. The next step was Company's House, where I found llyn Farm Produce Limited, and where the humble Alex is elevated to the Honourable Alex Simon Tyrrell Kenyon. It seems he inherited the farm from an aunt. So here he goes. After starting the business in 2016, she built the farm up from scratch on land that her husband Alex inherited from the family. So it's a stooge. Now here we get to the bit. Now, if you're still with me, I hope you are. I had to read all that. I don't wish to be too critical, for I see the name Hammer in Alex's bloodline, but the fact remains that Tyrrell Kenyons are not representative of Welsh farmers. Perhaps a generous interpretation might be the one I allude to in the section heading, that of Maria Antoinette playing a shepherdess in her cottage in the grounds of Versailles. Sorry, I can't. Whether Sam Kenyon knew she was being used to push a policy deeply unpopular with farmers, I don't know, but we'll leave it there. Now, this is something I hope you're waited for. The nudge unit was involved in this, the Welsh nudge unit, and listen to this. Piss, you want to hear some misinformation. Not a lot of people know this, but the self-styled Welsh Government uses a private company as a propaganda unit to push its message and slander its opponents. And of course this is done with your money. The company I'm referring to is called llyn. It seems to have begun with the llyn Group Limited, through another company formed more recently as llyn Global Limited. The deadline for submitting the first accounts for llyn Global is on March the 20th. The sole director of both companies is Sheona Sarka Llyn. Well, on one level, we have a website funded by the Welsh Government putting out bullshit from another outfit funded by Drakeford and his crew. Will you miss him? No. But as I suggest, there's a dangerously ideological and therefore divisive edge to everything put out by the Welsh Government, or llyn, nudge unit, BBC and other mouthpieces. So the Welsh Government are using a behavioural science nudge unit to make people think that all farmers are right-wing. And it's under the guise of a place called llyn. And it's a private company. But we all know that's civil service. So here's the conclusion, if you're still with me, to it all. This guy sees out on all this. The message we are being force-fed is that the goodies of the globalist green left are trying to save the planet, but are being opposed by the wicked far-right and who are villains and now manipulating farmers' protest. Come on, this is pure pantomime. Why would I, a creature of the rational and reasonable right, a man who loves nature all his life, who has children, grandchildren, and soon great-grandchildren, want to destroy nature and the planet on which I live? It makes no sense. What does make sense is a man that's been around a bit, studied human nature, knows quite a few con men, friends some of them, many liars, a few sociopaths, understands how politics and control operate, and recognise a dirty campaign when he sees it. And so I've put out this unplanned and rather hasty post to warn people that there are dangerous and unscrupulous actors pushing the Welsh Government message, the nudge unit. They are prepared to lie, to vilify decent people, and to do about anything to promote their agenda, so be warned. And remember, behavioural science and bullshit are the same initials, and they amount to the same thing. And that's where you'll find the true hidden agendas. Now, this was a good quote, I thought. Collective fear stimulates herd instinct and tends to produce ferocity towards those who are not regarded as members of the herd. Bertrand Russell. Now, that is what is going on here. Now, the nudge unit, I'll do another one on this about the British nudge unit, but before I go any further, please go to this guy's blog, Jack of the North. It's the first thing I've shared of his, and I saw it the other day, and I thought it was really well written. I just hope I've done it justice. And he's a proper old-school journalist who has found out what's going on. So the Welsh Government have basically been using a private company that's a nudge unit, a behavioural science nudge unit, to make all us farmers seem like we're right-wing when we're not. So I know this is a bit of a long one today, but I had to put this one in because you can see what they're trying to do. So this is a hillbilly half-wit Gaza. If you can see there, please comment, rate and subscribe, because I love seeing your comments even if they don't agree with them, because it means somebody's engaging. So all the best. Ta-da! And please subscribe.